Hi everyone, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. Today I want to speak about Keir Starmer, British Labour Party Prime Minister, who has been speaking out in response to his crushing local election defeats in the last couple of weeks. Now, of course, he's been speaking out and says he's getting tough now on immigration. Isn't that interesting? Keir Starmer, the globalist, is responding to pressure from below, and people have had enough of what's going on in Britain. And of course, this is going to have a lot of implications for Ireland. But the Irish political classes are completely oblivious to this, and they're sleepwalking themselves to more of an immigration chaos in Ireland in response to Starmer's comments. Of course, Starmer is a complete and utter globalist. He's trying to build this coalition of the willing across Europe, and a big part of the Rearmament Europe plan, and they're looking for joint procurement also as well right across the European Union. And of course, over the next couple of days there's going to be a UK EU summit, the first since Brexit. So Starmer, a fully signed up member of the globalist establishment, and of course World Economic Forum nonsense that he's pushing forward. Really the response is to the crushing local election defeats. The improvement, for instance, in terms of the performance of reform led by Nigel Farage, and also we've seen other parties such as Liberal Democrats do quite well as well in those local elections. And of course there was crushing defeats for the Labour Party, who haven't tackled the key interests in British society in terms of the City of London. Of course, Starmer has many events held around the City of London, and is fully supportive of the international capitalism, and of course has been attacking ordinary people in Britain in the context of pensioners, cutting down on payments, for instance winter fuel payments as well, and many more attacks on ordinary people. But again, there's plenty of money for war and plenty of money for funnel upwards to his friends in the City of London. Now, Starmer has spoken and said that Britain has become an island of strangers. Now, this is interesting that he said this. Of course, he's fully signed up to this agenda, and he's only doing it because of the response in the local elections. And of course, let's see what comes to pass in terms of his actions. And he also said they should have control of their borders. And interestingly enough, he also said that there should be a smashing of people smuggling at source. Well, it has been the globalist agenda, Keir, to push forward this agenda to drive wages down across society and benefit the international capitalists that he supports in the City of London. So let's see how they respond to this as well. And also the stuff he's been sending messages about, a lot of people were arrested for. Isn't that interesting? It's okay when the establishment are doing it, but when anybody else makes a comment about what's going on in their communities, they're silenced. And of course Starmer has really cracked down on a lot of people, for instance in terms of protesting, offering dissent against the narrative. And he also said it's about cheap labour. Starmer stating the obvious. But let's see what happens in the next period of time in terms of his push as well. He's not going to attack the very rich in society, much the same to an extent Farage either isn't going to attack the ultra rich in society. They benefit them. Essentially they'll find scapegoats of somebody and they'll move on to benefit their rich benefactors in the City of London and those big billionaires, and of course siding up to the European Union as well. But this is going to have major ramifications for Ireland, because we saw last year where Rishi Sunak was talking about the Rwanda policy, and of course there was nearly a flood across the Irish Sea in through the north and into the Republic of Ireland of people claiming asylum. And of course this is going to have ramifications also in the context of the comments by Starmer. Now 3 months ago, or 2 months ago rather, there was a UK-Ireland summit in Liverpool, and they spoke about their cooperation in terms of economic cooperation. They both, the Irish government and Starmer, support the single market. They fully are signed up to the militarism agenda of the European Union and across Europe. And of course Micheál Martin as well is a fully signed up member of the globalist cabal in the European Union, the branch manager himself, Martin. So fundamentally nothing was spoken about in terms of the immigration in that meeting they had in Liverpool. And of course we'll see what develops over the next period of time, but the Irish government are completely oblivious and sleepwalking through this, the political establishment as well, rather than dealing with the crisis at source, and having fundamental control of your own borders. And it's interesting, when the Brexit negotiations were taking place, they spoke about having a sea border for sausages, wasn't it? But of course, when it comes to people, it's a different kettle of fish, pardon the pun. But this is the way they're pushing forward over the next period of time. So something that has to be keenly watched, and it's going to have major ramifications for Ireland in terms of another flood of a wave of immigration, already adding to the issues in Irish society because of the lack of services, keeping accommodation costs high, and of course who benefits. The establishment represents the very rich in Irish society, Irish capitalists, and the international vultures also as well, at the expense of ordinary people. It's about time the needs of the citizens of our country are put first, and that's vitally important now more than ever in terms of the context of what's coming at Ireland. And of course the political establishment have signed up to the EU Migration Pact and are quite happy to cede over all powers of our border across to the European Union and bureaucrats in an office in Brussels who will dictate how many you should take and shouldn't take. And of course, well, fundamentally, it's causing chaos in Irish society, and people have had enough in terms of the growth in the anti-government demonstrations that are taking place up and down the country. So again, thanks so much for the support of my videos, really appreciate them. Please subscribe to my channel and please share my videos as well. I'm very grateful for everybody who continues to share my videos, and thanks as well to everybody who supports me on buying me a coffee. Josephine Shaw recently supported me, and thanks so much to Josephine for that support. If you liked it, the links are in the comments at the end of this video as well. So from Dublin, Slán, take care, see you soon, bye bye.